Another strong team composition just for you traders, so let's see what we have going on for today's content, because we're having an exciting team overall. We're using triple counter in one single line, and I think that this is one of the safest ways to encounter the entire meta of Open Great League. So the Ox up in front, while at the back we're gonna have the legacy counter on our Poliwrath back from its community day, alongside Vigoroth with this new season's Rock Slide being added to its moveset. So we're looking at a pretty strong line, able to pressure a lot with that fast attack of each individual Pokemon, and of course by having the bulk of the Oxys, you can always rely on it to grab those moves that your opponent is gonna throw, so that you can have kinda the better outcome with the slight shield advantage on your side. So here comes now the Ice Wind from my opponent, and I decide to double block here my Deoxys, which is something that I barely do with this team, only because I want to finish off as soon as possible this Griden, and of course get out of here with a double Psycho Boost remaining on my Pokemon. I know here now that I can easily go into my Vigoroth and absolutely outspeed that Poliwrath to the moves, so all I have to do here to complete this first battle is to push them in throwing the remaining energy that they have, and then annihilate them down with a double Psycho Boost from my Eliminator, and of course Vision, as known as the Oxys. So this was an amazing first victory to start off the video, and you're gonna see that on the entirety of this video we're gonna have mostly bad leads. Yes trainers, even that Grident was a bad lead only because of it having access to crunch. So Gligar for the next one, and of course this is another nightmare lead for our Pokemon, and here is how I want to play this matchup. I always go for the 10 of those counters, charge up to a double Psycho Boost, throw the first one, and then try to clean the debuff immediately by switching out to Vigoroth and not that Poliwrath. This is one of the few instances that you want to switch out to your Vigoroth as a safe switch. So definitely Poliwrath is not gonna be the main safe switch, but the primary one. So let's see how this is gonna fold here though, because by switching out we draw out of there the Lantern, which is pretty great for our Poliwrath at this point, and of course we have another Psycho Boost that we banked earlier from that Gligar matchup. All I want to do at this point is to make them throw the energy, but not before I push them to the limits, and of course I'm trying to completely farm down over here. That was kinda a mistake of mine, because I could easily throw the Psycho Boost much earlier and finish off this Pokemon while keeping the shield for the end game and my Poliwrath, but I wanted to just have the upper hand eventually, so by throwing those double Psycho Boosts we can do exactly that, and my opponent on this incident is having a Vigoroth at the back, so they're kinda weak to my Poliwrath, but still Vigoroth with the shield advantage can absolutely finish me off if they want to. So here comes now the amazing counter damage that we have, but we cannot quite finish off the job. Body Slam is coming through, the Oxys for the finish off, and now this is a race to the farm down, which we can definitely win because we have slightly more HP on our Deoxys, and that was a very close victory once again. I'm telling you, this is the safest way to approach Great League, and even against the worst possible scenarios you are always gonna have a win condition. So up against a Ninetales now from Alola, being Shadow I believe as well, and now we're seeing the switch out to this Lantern. I'm pretty glad that I am encountering the Lantern with my Deoxys, because right now we're having kinda the upper hand with all that energy gained. Just gonna reach now to a double Psycho Boost once again, throw the first, and then try to catch the move on my Poliwrath. By doing so, we can definitely have the upper hand even against the Charmer with a Shadow Scald. And yes trainers, you do not need that Shadow on your Poliwrath, but it will be kinda helpful, especially on the safe sweet spot. Instead of getting the Scald on that Ninetales, we managed to get it on that Poliwrath, and as you just saw, they also took the debuff, which is pretty great for us, and this is the main reason that you want to use Poliwrath as your primary safe switch with this team, to debuff the opponent at the worst case scenario. So my opponent here is just gonna throw here whatever they throw with the Ninetales, but it doesn't matter at all because we can still farm down while we have a Body Slam, at least one, for that next matchup and the Poliwrath. Of course, I am having a feeling that they're gonna throw the remaining energy, so once again we have to rotate around our Deoxys to be turned from a leader into a closer, to outspeed, to the farm down, and we can do exactly that. Azumarill now up in front, and of course this is kinda of the best scenario for our team, because at the back our Poliwrath will struggle, but not that much, because if you're having a Shadow Poliwrath you can do a lot of work up against your opponents. But my opponent here decides to go for the weird switch out to the Venusaur, able to absorb the Thunderbolt damage, and of course right after we're gonna throw the Psycho Boost, which they are gonna block. Great play by my opponent, but we're gonna switch out after we throw the first Psycho Boost, grab the shield, charge up to a second one, and now this is the perfect timing to bring our Vigoroth into play to counter this Pokemon down with the combination of one Body Slam. Now that Azumarill is gonna return to the battle, but we're having slightly the overhand here because we can do a lot of spammy damage with those Body Slams. Our counters are all gonna be resisted by that fairy typing that Azumarill is carrying, but we can see here that they decide to switch out to Trident. So I'm trying to catch one Body Slam on my Poliwrath, and I know that even two of those Body Slams will not be enough off. This Pokemon can always carry the move of Trailblaze, but since I caught the move, I kinda have here the upper hand and I can easily farm down in the process. Azumarill goes in, I know it has a lot of energy to spare and also a shield on its side. The battle is definitely not over yet, I have two severely weak Pokemon and we somehow managed to win the CMP here. This is absolutely awesome because now we have two of those Body Slams stored up on our Vigoroth, one to bring the Azumarill super low and one more immediately after to destroy down Azumarill, and of course this is another sweaty battle as you can see. Into the next one now with another Gligar. Our Deoxys cannot catch a break. This video is all about bad leads. This video is all about close battles. So let's see how well we can do once again up against this Pokemon. So you remember what I told you before, you need to charge up to a double Psycho Boost, throw the first one and then switch out, and of course bank that energy for the end game as long as you can do that. So now we're gonna bring our Vigoroth once again into this fight, and we can tank whatever they throw. Just a dig, we don't care at all. Another move is coming up. I know this is no dig at all, so we can definitely survive. They managed to catch my Body Slam on the Lickitung, which is kinda problematic. I should have thrown much earlier here, and yeah, they can easily farm down in the process. However, we have the shield advantage and we managed to use one shield here in order to completely farm down, but I know that since they went for the Body Slam, they're gonna get to another one soon enough, so I have to sacrifice my shield. So now Gligar returns into the battle and we already have a double Psycho Boost once again to finish off this Gligar. So with a little bit of rotation, a little bit of synergy, a little bit of extra Psycho Boost, you can always come over your opponent against a Gligar, and since they have a Bastion at the back, we're looking pretty strong with our team. Into the next battle now, we're having a Whiscash up against us. So this Pokemon can always debuff us with a Scald, but hopefully for us we do not get that debuff with the first Scald. So here comes now the Psycho Boost from my side, and much like we play the matchup with the Gligar, we're just gonna charge up to a double Psycho Boost, throw one, switch out, clean the debuff, and see how well we can do with our Vigoroth. Rock Slide is imminent, this will do some decent damage to the Skarmory, and one more right after. Just remember that we are debuffed, that's why we are having slightly less damage with our Rock Slides, but it doesn't matter at all. I know here we can survive one Sky Attack, not with this, but still we can do that, so I'm just gonna preserve those shields for the end game and my Poliwrath. Now Poliwrath goes in, we definitely need to block whatever they throw here because it is super effective with those Sky Attacks, and now Grident will be the only Pokemon remaining at the back. All we have to do here is to reach the Scald. We're gonna do so much damage on their end, and by blocking the Trailblaze, are you kidding me, we're still able to farm down. Whiscash now remains at the freaking back. That was their lead Pokemon. Another Scald to destroy down this one, and Skarmory will just follow the same fate with one simple counter. into the final one now with the Ninetales from the Alola region using its shadow form as well. So this Pokemon is always troublesome when it carries the move charm, but since we can have kinda the upper hand with our Deoxys, let's see how well we can do from here. Now they're gonna switch out to the Bastiodon. I believe they're trying to bait out of our backline the fighter, but guess what, we have 3 of those fighters, are you kidding me? And now we're just gonna complete that amazing farm down by spending no sweat at all with our counters and the Poliwrath. Shadow Poliwrath now for the win up against the Azumarill as well. We know that they need to spend some energy in the process if they want to have the upper hand here, and I just want to preserve all that energy that I have farmed up for the end game because you never know what will happen. Now we know that they're gonna switch out to the Ninetales, and of course we have another double Psycho Boost ready to go. Look at that, trainers, absolutely amazing. Deoxys really has outdone itself in this video because of all those Psycho Boosts that are coming up back to back. So now Vigoroth will emerge into the battle trying to survive the following move, and of course Azumarill will stand no chance up against us. I'm just gonna take the move, I don't care at all, we still have energy on the Poliwrath, but we are not gonna even need it because Rock Slide will deal enough damage to secure the victory for this final battle. Thank you for watching, trainers, and for staying till the end. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, smash that like button please to help the algorithm realize that this video exists, subscribe to the channel if you are new to my content, and over here I have 2 videos for you to check out. Feel free to check them out, and I will catch you up later into the next one.